So we've got about a minute and a half until our next game begins between the Hillcrest Prep North Bruins and the St. Louis Christian Cougars. Hillcrest Prep North is coached by Aaron Clark, and St. Louis Christian is coached by Casey Autenreith. Hillcrest Prep will be the home team. Hillcrest Prep North will be the home team on the scoreboard. They are wearing white, trimmed in royal blue and yellow. The visitors from St. Louis Christian are in gold, trimmed in 2 shades of blue. All right, we are just seconds away from opening tip. Hillcrest Prep North versus St. Louis Christian. And we will go to public announce for the starting assignments. All right, we've got all our starting assignments. We are seconds away from tip. Hillcrest Prep North in white. St. Louis Christian in gold. All right, this is a grind session event, the Big Baller Beatdown, brought to you by Tanager Sports. Grind session rules apply. 2 16-minute halves, 6 fouls for disqualification, and a 30-second shot clock. St. Louis Prep wins the opening tip. Shot up. Tray ball is good. Jordan Nesbitt.
Nice skip pass, and Nesbitt with his hands ready shoots it in rhythm.
Carl Lewis, no good. Tiku Musaka with the rebound for St. Louis Christian. C.J. Soul on the right side of the lane. Shot no good. Oscar Lopez comes out of the scrum with the ball. Peyton Dickerson, three-pointer, no good. Rebound, Richard Green. Green, tray ball, no good. Rebound, Carl Lewis. Michael Rogers lays it in transition for Hillcrest Prep North. Cougars 3, Bruins 2. 14:56 left in the first half. Almost stolen there by Michael Rogers. Rashard Green dishes to Tiki Musaka. No good. Michael Rogers to Jordan Clark. Carl Lewis tries to dunk it over Musaka. No good. Offensive rebound and putback. No good. CJ Soul in transition for St. Louis Christian. Tray ball on the way, knocked down, it's good. Keon Batchman. 6-2, St. Louis Christian on top of Hillcrest Prep North. Michael Rogers, 3-ball, no good. Tiki Musaka with the rebound for St. Louis Christian. Stolen, Oscar Lopez, the DePaul commit. Jordan Clark. Blocked by Tiki Musaka. I don't know how he caught up with that thing. He did, though.
I think he got away with the goaltend there. It's already on the
I
backboard.
thought it might have been. It was close.
St. Louis gets their third 3 in a row.
Rashard Green.
Green.
The third 3-ball for St. Louis Christian. 9-2, they're on top.
Hot shooting star for St. Louis Christian to start out.
And St. Louis Christian does not have a lot of size. They do put up a lot of three-point shots. That's just a staple of their offense. Peyton Dickerson answers with a 3 for Hillcrest Prep North. 9-5. St. Louis Christian on top in the early going. 13-10 left in the first half. Rashard Green, floater, no good. Oscar Lopez with the rebound for Hillcrest. Peyton Dickerson finger rolls it in transition.
Dickerson's got that size that you look for. I mean, he's a good 6'5", 6'6", at least.
Yes. CJ Soul, no good. Oscar Lopez with the rebound. To Michael Rogers. Rogers, he's on the line. It's a 2. That is a 2.
And here comes Hillcrest right back
And
at
they
him.
are tied at 9.
Of course, Hillcrest, the alma mater of #1 pick DeAndre Ayton.
DeAndre Ayton. Hillcrest won the second ever Grind Session World Championship. Shot no good, St. Louis Christian. Rebound, Peyton Dickerson. To Oscar Lopez. Carl Lewis. He's fouled.
Lewis is a big, big body down there.
Yes, he is.
You
A
don't
foul
want-
committed by Jordan Nesbitt. His first team first. That's the first foul of the game.
You don't want too many shoulders to the chest from that guy. I mean, he'll pound you all game long if you,
Yes,
you
he
get in
will.
his way.
Yes, he will. And Lewis makes the first. Lewis with a surprisingly soft touch for a man of his girth. I mean, that's a big old boy. Look at that free throw. Beautiful rotation. He missed it, but the offensive rebound, Peyton Dickerson, stolen away. Picked up by Rashard Green. Here comes CJ Soul. Elbow jumper, no good. Carl Lewis with the rebound. Outlets to Michael Rogers. Rogers attacks the rim. Layup is no good. Foul by Tiki Musaka. That's Tiki's first, team second. Michael Rogers will go to the free throw line and shoot a pair. First free throw for Rogers is good. Into the game for St. Louis Christian, number 22, Jackson McCoy. McCoy replacing CJ Soul. Rogers makes both. It's 12-9. St. Louis Christian back on top.
Hillcrest in his zone look.
Musaka to Jordan Nesbitt. That is the fourth three-pointer of the morning for St. Louis Christian. Excuse me, of the afternoon. 12-12.
Yeah, obviously all their points coming from the three-point line.
And Colin, they live and die by the three. It's just that simple.
Apparently so.
Nesbitt, no good. Peyton Dickerson with the rebound. Roger is blocked by Tiki Musaka. He gives it to Jordan Clark. Jordan Clark for three. If you like outside game, you're loving this one. Another tray ball by Richard Green, his second. 5 trays for St. Louis Christian, 7 already in this game between both teams. 15-15. Oscar Lopez, no good. Jordan Nesbitt with the rebound for St. Louis Christian. Jackson McCoy for 3, no good. Peyton Dickerson with the rebound. Lopez, no good.
Ball slipped out of his hands there. I was watching him in warm-ups, man. He can
shoot.
Get up now.
And that foul committed by Jordan Clark. That is his first, team first. Burt Brown and Peter Dadson. Excuse me, yes, Burt Brown and Peter Dadson into the contest for Hillcrest Prep. Tray ball, no good. Richard Green. Here comes Hillcrest. Jawan Westbrook, number 15, into the game for Hillcrest Prep. Oscar Lopez scores it for the Bruins.
Lopez, just like we mentioned from some guards earlier in the day, great body control, hang time, puts it up on the glass.
Jackson McCoy, no good. Tiki Masaka, offensive rebound, up and in. That foul's on Jacob Howry. That is his first, team second. Makes both.
It's a good look from the elbow there for Hillcrest, though. That's where you want to get the balls in the elbow in the middle of the zone.
Tray ball is good. Burt Brown. Excuse me, Jacob Howry. Jonathan Isamov. Jawan Westbrook, no good. Oscar Lopez called for that foul, his first, team third. And Jordan Nesbitt, who scored that basket for St. Louis Christian, will go to the line and try to complete the old-fashioned three-point play. He missed it. Offensive rebound, St. Louis Christian. Nesbitt has his shot blocked. Two point-blank opportunities missed by Hillcrest Prep North. And Peyton Dickerson for Hillcrest commits the frustration foul. That is his first, team fourth.
Brown with the foul. And St. Louis will inbounds the ball. We got a long three, no good. But an offensive rebound by Nesbitt. Now he's going to get called for the charge. So now Lopez the inbound. Brown bringing it to the front court. Dickerson with the offensive rebound and gets blocked out of bounds. Dickerson's been very active here early. Big kid, good size, good stroke. Hillcrest will go against the zone on the out of bounds play here. And there's Brown to clean that up, misses. And now here comes Batchman into the front court. 3-on-2. Oh.
CJ Soul has his shot blocked and then a nasty collision there. I think he's okay. He collided with Burt Brown in the air. Excuse me, Jacob Howry. That's the second foul, on Jacob Howry. And team sixth foul. So CJ Soul will have a couple of free throws coming. Misses the first. Soul misses both. Peyton Dickerson with the rebound. 22-20, St. Louis Christian on top. Dickerson blocked by Jonathan Izamoff. Izamoff called for the foul. His first, team fourth. So Peyton Dickerson will shoot a pair for Hillcrest. Rattles that first one home. Cullen, the threes have been coming hot and heavy. 5 for St. Louis Christian, 3 for Hillcrest Prep North.
Yeah, you can tell that's in their DNA to get those threes up. Like you said earlier, they live or die by the three, showing evident here in the first half.
22-22. We're all tied up with 7:26 to go in the first half. We have had 3 very entertaining games so far, Cullen. You just can't ask for any more than that.
A lot of talent on the floor. Anytime you put this much talent together, it's going to be some good games. Lopez splits the trap, or splits the zone, really.
Jordan Nesbitt with yet another three-pointer. Stolen by St. Louis Christian. They've got
Good
numbers.
lob.
The lob.
Oh.
Nesbitt cannot complete it. A better pass, and he will dunk that. Timing was just a little off. Pass wasn't where it needed to be. Peyton Dickerson working hard on the glass. 2 offensive rebounds, and he can't get it in. And that's the second time in this half Peyton Dickerson has committed a classic frustration foul. Things didn't go his way. Then he gets a little handsy, he gets called.
Well, yeah, he wants the call for himself, and they're beating him up a little bit, so I understand it. But you hate to pick up, a silly or a unnecessary foul there, 90 feet away from the basket.
Correct. CJ Soul makes the first. And they are both good for Soul. He missed his first 2, made his next 2. He's 2 out of 4. And the lead is 4, 26-22. St. Louis Christian on top of Hillcrest Prep North. Tray ball, no good. Javon Jones.
Wow.
Comes St. Louis Christian the other way.
Oh.
Wow. Carl Lewis, going back to our last game, Cullen, he got his money's worth on that foul.
Yeah, he did. And
made sure the shot didn't get on the rim.
I wouldn't ever want to meet him in the middle of the air.
No.
Sure. I mean, because you're not gonna you're gonna bounce the wrong way in that
every time. So to the free throw line, shooting a pair, Jordan Nesbitt. And that was another case to me, calling the refs doing their job. You know, sometimes when you get a hard foul, sometimes someone will pop up off the floor.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But they go down, make sure nothing happens.
You see a couple referees sprinting
to make sure everything stays copacetic. Nesbitt makes 1 out of 2.
Well, they know they don't want to get in any part of this kind of, you know, these are some big boys out here. You know, they're bigger than most, or, well, obviously bigger than the referees. Oh.
Carl Lewis slams that one home with authority.
Maybe Carl Lewis is one of those guys you don't want to get him angry. You know, you don't want to give him any incentive to play harder. If you're the opponent, obviously. It's a foul.
And Lewis is such an intense guy. This is a funny story, Cullen. He got a tech last week when he was on the bench. He wasn't even playing in the game. He was getting really intense about something, and the refs had heard enough, teed him up. He was in street clothes at the time. He's called for his first foul. Team 8th. And Jordan Nesbitt is struggling from the free throw line. He missed that first one. He is 1 for 4 from the line this afternoon. Make it 2 for 5. Shard Green into the game, replacing Jordan Nesbitt for St. Louis Christian. And the Cougars on top by 5, 29-24 over the Bruins of Hillcrest Prep North. 6 minutes to go in the first half. Oscar Lopez for 3, no good. Michael Rogers, offensive rebound, cannot cash it in. He is fouled by Jackson McCoy. That is McCoy's first, team 5th.
Another guard from that World Championship team, Hillcrest, that I always think of when I think of that Hillcrest bunch is for Sean Cotton. He was very fun to watch. I really kind of fell in love with him as a player when I was covering them a couple years ago. It's a different look for Hillcrest than you know, that type of guard play. Sean Cotton was your traditional point guard, going to make it to the college level. I think he started out at Akron. I'm not sure where I believe he transferred somewhere now, but you don't see that type of guard out here for Hillcrest at the moment. Now Lopez obviously he's a higher, you know, he's got a lot of bounce, good shooter.
All right, so we got a full timeout on the floor called by Hillcrest Prep. And our score, I don't know that they added that free throw. I thought it should be 29-26. But the scoreboard says 29-25. We'll go with that. 5:44 left in the first half. We hope you are enjoying the 2019 Big Baller Beatdown Grind Session event brought to you by Tanager Sports. We'll be back in a moment. 5:44 left in the first half. St. Louis Christian 29, Hillcrest Prep 25.
And since we're sitting where we're sitting,
Jackson McCoy for St. Louis Christian.
we heard in the huddle, Coach Ottenreith, he wants his guys to push the ball. He wants, get up and down the floor. He doesn't feel like that Hillcrest can run with them. So he wants his guys running the floor, and especially the bigs. He wants his bigs running the floor to make Carl Lewis. He wants to wear him down a little bit. He doesn't feel like.
And he
Hillcrest
wants
can
better
keep up.
movement away from the ball. And again, is that theme? They've got better foot speed. He says, "Hey, look, you move without the ball, we'll get better shots."
They'll get more open threes that way. I think that's.
And I think that's what he's looking for. Floater, no good. Javon Jones, C.J. Soul into the front court for St. Louis Christian. They are up 6, 31-25. Floater, no good. Carl Lewis with the rebound. Oscar Lopez in transition. He overthrows Jordan Clark. And Colin, that's just a classic case. When you get yourself off the ground, you don't leave a lot of good options. Oscar elevated. The only person he had was Jordan Clark, and that's the smallest guy on the court. That's a tough pass. He had someone between him and Jordan. It just was a recipe for a turnover. 4:40 to go, first half. St. Louis Christian up 6, 31-25.
Got to reverse the ball here.
Isamov, no good. Carl Lewis with the rebound.
It's a great break.
Oh, and just could not finish it. That was Burt Brown. Hillcrest Prep North somehow manages to retain possession. Oh, what a pass from Michael Rogers, and a shot blocked by Isamov. C.J. Soul all alone. Finger roll is good, and he's fouled.
And what creates that there is so smart enough to go off the wrong leg. But in this case, it's not the wrong leg, because going off the wrong leg created that contact. You get the left leg up there. Now, as soon as you draw that contact, it's going to spin your body out of control. It's going to look like a foul regardless if it is or not. So it's very, very intelligent play there by Soul to draw the foul and finish at the same time.
That foul called on Michael Rogers. That is his first. And Soul missed the and one. Now, Lewis should have been able to just turn around and flip that thing in. I don't think he realized how close he was to the basket.
Well, Lewis shows, what big guys are capable of. Like, he's one of those guys it's almost impossible to keep him off his spot because he's so big. I'm not saying he reminds me of Shaq, but that's how Shaq dominated the league for so long. You couldn't keep him off his spot when he backs you down.
Michael Rogers was being harassed every time he turned around, and he ends up losing that ball out of bounds. 3:26 left to go. St. Louis Christian with their largest lead of the contest, 8 points, 33-25.
Michael Rogers looks like a Division I football player.
He does.
Looks like a Division I linebacker. I mean, that kid is solid.
Michael Rogers is a great story. Statistician Jesse Brewer can tell you a little more about him than me, but when he showed up at Hillcrest Prep, he was homeless.
Really?
Had no intentions of playing basketball, but the coaches got with him, and they took him from homeless to starting for one of the better prep programs in the country. Keon Batchman scores that one for St. Louis Christian. They now lead it by 10, 35-25.
Gotta love stories like that.
Absolutely. That's what it's really supposed to be about.
Of course. Well, there's nothing like sport, and basketball, obviously, in America is one of the most popular games, next to football, next to NFL. But sport brings people together. Sport inspires people.
And gives them opportunities they otherwise would not have had. Lewis misses that one.
I don't think there's any better life teacher than sports. in team sports.
Alpha Chibamba enters the contest for St. Louis Christian, replacing Tiki Musaka. So now the Cougars have gone small. I mean, they have gone very small with 2:56 to go in the first half. Shot no good. Carl Lewis with the rebound for Hillcrest. Oscar Lopez. Lopez just doesn't have his best game today. I mean, he's only got 2 points. He's known as being a three-point shooter. He's committed to DePaul. We know he can play. I've seen him play much better than this. He's just out of sync for some reason today. In the lane, shot no good by Keon Batchman. Up and good. I think that was Rashard Green. Yes, it was Rashard Green with that stick back. Lopez tries to save it. Can't. Keon Batchman comes the other way for St. Louis Christian, and he threads the needle to C.J. Soul. Out to Jackson McCoy for three.
I was just thinking the same thing. I didn't understand how that pass even got there to Soul. And Soul with the smart play of kicking that back out to a wide-open three-point shooter.
And so timeout has been called by Hillcrest Prep North with 2 minutes to go in the first half. And our score is St. Louis Christian 40, Hillcrest Prep North 25. We hope you're enjoying the Big Baller Beatdown grind session presentation brought to you by Tanager Sports, and we will be back after this break. So with 2 minutes left to go in the first half, our score is St. Louis Christian 40, Hillcrest Prep North 25. So we could hear the conversation here on the St. Louis Christian end. What do you think the conversation was like on the Hillcrest Prep end? They're down 15. What do they need to do better?
They've got to take better shots. They've got to find better shots. And, you know, right now you're seeing Lopez, and I'm not picking on Lopez at all, but that's a couple times we've seen now. No passes, no ball movement. It's just kind of taking it to the rim on your own. You know, you need to move the ball. That creates, you know, you've got to shift the defense. You've got to make them work in order to create driving lanes, open shots, and that's what Hillcrest needs to do. Share the basketball and better ball movement. I think St. Louis Christian has done exactly what Coach Ottenreith has told him, is to push the basketball. Yep. He thinks that Hillcrest is tired, and he may be onto something there. That's good coaching. It's good, you know, preparation. It's a good job of him recognizing what his team is doing better than the other team.
Yeah, that should have been a 1-and-1. Okay, so yes, the referees allowed 2 free throws in a situation where there should have only been 1. So their only remedy in that case.
Wrong way here. I think it's supposed to be.
Well, his only remedy was alternating possession, and the arrow. He said we were going with Hillcrest Prep, but the arrow actually was pointing towards St. Louis.
Yeah, I think he was right in saying that it is Hillcrest basketball. I think it's going to be Hillcrest ball.
Yeah.
Out of bounds on the baseline.
Wherever the arrow is going. Oh, you know what? And it does look like the light is going this way. Yes, so it is Hillcrest Prep basketball out of bounds. And I don't think Coach Aaron Clark realized he and the ref were saying the exact same thing.
Exactly.
Because all he saw was yellow has the ball on the baseline. Oscar Lopez drives baseline, puts in the layup. So now the lead is 13, 40-27, St. Louis Christian.
Lopez is very vertical. He's a very vertical guy. He bounces up very quickly.
Keon Batchman scores it for St. Louis Christian, back out to a 15-point lead. Peyton Dickerson up and in on the offensive rebound.
Dickerson finally gets a call. He's been looking for that and one all day long.
Shard Green called for the foul, his first team 8th. And so Dickerson will go to the line, and he makes it. So Hillcrest Prep was in a position where they really needed something to happen going positively for them, and they got that. Now they're down 12. See if they can get a stop. Jackson McCoy goes baseline. It's saved and thrown away there by Alpha Chibamba. Foul on Richard Green, his second foul on as many possessions. His second foul, 9th team foul. So Jordan Clark will go to the free throw line shooting 1-1.
Jordan Clark, just like an iced kicker, goes ahead and takes the attempt to get the stroke down.
Makes the first.
Lopez.
(42-32). Hillcrest Prep up by 10. Excuse me, St. Louis Christian up by 10. Jackson McCoy for 3, no good. Rebound, Jawan Westbrook. Michael Rogers off the glass. What a finish. The bank open on Saturday afternoon for Michael Rogers. That was a heck of an angle, wasn't it, on that?
Rogers has one of those spin moves you don't want to get in the way of. You know, he spins in there hard. He knows that if he makes the contact, he's not going to be the one bouncing off.
No,
so
not at all.
It's a smart move to use your body that way and to get the angle that you want. That's a great pass.
Lopez with the steal. Jordan Clark is good if it goes. No. Jawan Westbrook, and that's good for 3 at the buzzer.
Wow.
So Cullen.
Clark could have actually gotten to the rim. He didn't realize there was that much time on the clock. He could have got a layup out of that. But what a heads-up play by Rogers.
Jawan Westbrook.
Westbrook, excuse me, to pick that up.
Yes. And just like that, we said Hillcrest needs something positive to happen for them. What better than that? You get the steal. So you've taken away potentially 2. There we go. 5-point play. You get the 3 there from Westbrook. And so now instead of facing a 9-point deficit, you're only down 5 going into halftime.
Like you said, it's huge.
So St. Louis Christian 42, Hillcrest Prep 37. We will take a break, and we'll come back in a few minutes to get you set up for the second half. We hope you're enjoying the Big Baller Beatdown 2019 live from Marshall County High School in Benton, Kentucky, a grind session event brought to you by Tanager Sports. We'll be back in a few minutes. Right. He was the co-founder of Tennessee Prep. Right. Yeah. Well, and Damien also plays for Herd, so you can get to Damien through either Herd or Rayford. But that'll be a kid that you could be putting the suit on him for the draft room. He's really special. Penny acting like he's recruiting him. He ain't really recruiting him like that. But when you got all these high major schools recruiting a kid, Penny's got to. Yeah, and Tavian Kala, yeah. Gotcha. He's not going to be around. Like I say, Penny ain't really recruiting him like that. He's just showing face to let people know, hey, I'm recruiting him. But they ought to be recruiting him hard, if you ask me. Do that. Okay, sounds good. All right, man. You too, CJ. All right, man. Bye-bye.
I got a question for you. Spire has a big, on the internet, has a big 7'7" kid. Robert Browowski, or big white kid. They say in the videos that if you don't play a whole lot because he's so different or afraid he'll break like every bone in his body. You not travel with him or do you
Oh,
know?
I've never seen anybody like 7'7" for them, so.
This kid right here, number 23,
Holy cow!
that's Spire. That was like the big thing whenever LaMelo moved there and he was playing with this kid.
Oh, yeah. He's too skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't know if he traveled with him. It'd just be cool to see somebody 7'7", such a good age.
It's almost time for the second half. St. Louis Christian 42, Hillcrest Prep 37. Jordan Nesbitt leads the St. Louis Christian Cougars with 13. Richard Green 8. Keon Batchman 7. Jackson McCoy 5. CJ Soul 4. Tiki Musaka 3. And Jonathan Isamov 2. For Hillcrest Prep North, Peyton Dickerson led the way in the first half with 10, followed by Michael Rogers at 9. Jordan Clark 5. Oscar Lopez, the DePaul commit 4, unusually quiet. 3 each for Jacob Howry, Carl Lewis, and Jawan Westbrook. But a huge three-pointer at the buzzer by Jawan Westbrook brought Hillcrest Prep North within 5. We'll see if that momentum will carry over into the second half. 16 minutes to go. Second half will begin in just a few seconds. St. Louis Christian with the basketball to begin the second half. I'm Leroy Watson on play-by-play, joined by my partner for the day, Cullen Kreider, my partner for the weekend.
You got it, man.
And St. Louis Christian got the shot they wanted. They just didn't convert. Jordan Clark, layup in transition, no good. Rebound, Jordan Nesbitt. C.J. Soul into the lane. He dishes it to Tiki Musaka for the easy basket.
Musaka's, I've been impressed with his hands. He's been ready. A lot of times you see big guys, and they'll get hit in the face with that pass.
Yep.
He's got his hands ready, keeps the ball up high, and puts it straight up. Throw it up. Nice.
To Musaka again.
I was thinking he may go off the backboard there. Kind of had that look to it with Musaka sprinting down the middle of the floor.
Peyton Dickerson called for his third foul, team first of the second half. Musaka goes to the line, shooting 2. And he rattles that first one home. 45-37, St. Louis Christian. They pushed the lead back out to 8 with the first 3 points of the second half, all being scored by Tiki Musaka. He misses the second. Peyton Dickerson with the rebound. Michael Rogers walks it into the front court. And St. Louis Christian in a 2-3 zone. And they are stretching that thing way, way, way out. Peyton Dickerson for 3.
And there's your zone buster for Hillcrest.
Absolutely.
Dickerson always ready to shoot it.
Musaka, no good. Peyton Dickerson skies for the rebound for Hillcrest. Dickerson drops it off to Carl Lewis, and looks like we've got a foul on the play.
Nice.
Carl Lewis with the basket. That foul was called on Keon Batchman. They said 1 white, they meant 1 yellow. That's Batchman's first and team first of the second half. Tray ball is good. Jordan Nesbitt.
That's a great shot from Nesbitt. The closeout was actually right on.
He was.
He closed out quickly, but Nesbitt just, he does well there of not really looking at the rim, acting like he's going to shoot. He kind of looks at the defender, looks him down, and pops straight up. That's hard to defend because you don't, as a defender, you sometimes read the eyes,
right,
especially if they're shooting.
So Jordan Nesbitt with a game-high 16, and that makes the lead 6, 48-42. 14:06 left in the contest. And the ball will be out of bounds, belonging to Hillcrest Prep North. Oscar Lopez to Michael Rogers into the lane. He was fouled by Keon Batchman. Batchman's second. Team second. Michael Rogers to the line, shooting a pair. And he missed the first. Second free throw coming up. He missed both. Jordan Nesbitt with the rebound for St. Louis Christian. C.J. Soul, no good. Carl Lewis with the rebound. They battle for it. Last touch by Hillcrest. Michael Rogers feels the wrong ref made the call.
Well, that's why players should never speak up about that because
Yes.
they don't know. I mean,
And Carl Lewis wisely told Michael, hey, let that go. And St. Louis Christian throws it away. Jordan Nesbitt was diving to the rim, but the passer was expecting him to cut and come back up. Why he would come back up from that position, I don't know, but that's what he was expecting. Michael Rogers drives the rim. He is fouled by Jordan Nesbitt. That is his third, team third. Michael Rogers will go to the free throw line and shoot a pair.
and it has began to get chippy, and the referee made
Yes.
a warning to both sides. It's unfortunate when that, I've been watching the whole situation here, and really, I don't mean to pick on one player, but Rogers kind of started all that.
Yep.
St. Louis,
Yep.
Musaka was just down on the block and kind of gets pushed, and both teams got a warning for it. It really should be a technical on one player. But sometimes as a referee, you've got to, in your head, you've got to be fair to both sides and just say, okay, look, that's it. And that's what he said. That's it. I'm not taking any more. So now, next time somebody mouths, I'm sure there'll be a quick
There'll be
trigger.
a whistle. Rogers is a colorful character, and I'm choosing my words carefully here. He has been involved in inciting some
Well,
other extracurriculars, we'll say.
when
and
you're
I
built
guess
like
I'll leave
he
it
is, it tends, you're definitely not scared of it.
I'm trying to stop short of saying he's a bully, but sometimes he will
Right.
kind of bully you down there.
Well, that plays into his advantage. I mean,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And he knows it. Tiki Musaka for three.
but that says a lot about Musaka as well. Musaka just got pushed on the other end of the floor. Oh, and that's a
Carl
charge.
Lewis.
That's another charge.
And that foul is,
It's going to be on the defense.
wow. They called a
There's a
foul
couple
on
elbows
C.J.
thrown
Soul.
there.
That's his first. And look, Colin, I've just got to call the refs out on that. I don't see how you call that a defensive foul.
No.
I just don't.
Well, and plus he got away with one before the
Correct.
second elbow.
Now, that was a good call.
Right.
That was a foul on Richard Green, his third. That is the team fifth. So Carl Lewis with the basket, and he's got the N1 free throw coming.
A lot of times it is very difficult for the bigs when they're so big,
Yeah.
like a Carl Lewis, because you're always taught to keep the ball up. Well, when you keep the ball up, your elbows are going to come up as well, and when you're that tall, your elbow is going to be at head level to most guys. So it's a difficult situation there. Yeah, and they're really scoping it out
And yes,
now.
so they call one on Michael Rogers. That is his second.
He's got to be a football player. I just don't see any way around it.
I got to find out a little more about his backstory. But yes, I would tend to agree with that. The way he is built, football is in his past somewhere.
If that kid's not a linebacker, I don't know. I mean, he's a good 6'1", 6'2". That's a perfect size.
C.J. Soul.
And the crazy thing to me is, before I even look up at the scoreboard, it feels like St. Louis Christian is way ahead. It feels
Right.
like they're in total control, and it's a 7-point game. So
7 point.
Hillcrest is right there.
Carl Lewis for three. Wow. Both the big men are stepping out and putting in outside shots.
And just like that, we're at a two-possession game.
And
Good
yeah,
call.
you had to call that one. Had to. Oscar Lopez.
Well, and the referees are to that point now. They're to that point of, okay, look, I've got to start calling. I've got to tighten up a little bit. It's getting a little out of hand. So now you'll see some calls that weren't called in the first half. The reaching, the grabs, the holds, and now pushes.
And we got an offensive foul on Jackson McCoy. That is his third, team sixth.
Right on cue with a quick whistle.
And if you are St. Louis Christian, you've got to be careful. That's 6 second-half fouls, and we are just at the 11:42 mark.
Yeah, it's been a slow half. A lot of fouls, like you said.
Michael Rogers, no good. Jackson McCoy with the rebound. Keon Batchman picks up a screen from Isamov. Richard Green to Isamov, no good. Rebound, Carl Lewis. Jawan Westbrook, no good. St. Louis Christian, Trey Ball, no good. Richard Green, offensive rebound, up and in.
Green just
Heads
goes
up
after
play.
that ball. He wanted it more. There was 2 defenders down there from Hillcrest, and that's going to be a walk, but I don't know if they're going to.
No basket. Foul on the floor. Foul on Jonathan Isamov. That is his second, team's 7th. So
This is going to turn into a very long half here in the bonus already. We're just 5 minutes and 10 seconds, 5:11 into the second half, and we're already in the bonus.
So Carl Lewis will shoot a pair of free throws here. (55-50). St. Louis Christian on top. One more free throw coming for Carl Lewis.
And Leroy, is there any coincidence? It's getting louder in here. It's getting filled up in here. Is there any coincidence?
No coincidence whatsoever.
What game we got coming up?
Foul on Carl Lewis. Call for his second foul. Team 4th. Jackson McCoy will go to the free throw line to shoot a pair. McCoy misses the first. And Cullen, to speak to your point, back at Mustang Madness in McCracken County, that was one of the most electric situations I've been in.
Fire marshal had
The
to be
gym
called,
was
man.
full. You could barely hear yourself think. You could barely move.
Capacity crowd, you know, they had to shut it down.
Yes, both nights.
Quit letting people in, you know. I mean, it's never happened, like they said. It's never happened in McCracken County High School as far as for a prep school event or a grind session event.
And Spire Academy put on a show each night.
Oh, yeah, they're good, man. You know, you've got a trio of guys with Ball and Rocket Watts and Jackson who are all very high-level players.
Carl Lewis for 3.
Carl Lewis has had a really big second half as well. He's been the
He's
bright
got
spot for
11
Hillcrest.
second half points,
Right.
14 on the night. And Cullen, I've never seen him even attempt a 3, much less make 2 of them back to back. Jonathan Isamov says, hey, I can play that game too.
Carl Lewis wants the ball. He's calling for it now, but St. Louis in the zone. Not going to let him catch on the block. Off Lopez's
And
leg, off his knee.
CJ Soul knocks the ball off Oscar Lopez. Heads up play, and it will belong to St. Louis Christian. 9:50 to go in the game. 2-possession game, 59-53. St. Louis Christian on top. Will Isamov take another? No, he decided against it. He thought about it. CJ Soul drives baseline, reverse layup is good.
No help side. No help side on the block. So very easy look there for Soul, but nice take. Keep going with it to the reverse side.
I think that was Dickerson's job to rotate and help. And Dickerson loses it out of bounds. Last touch by Richard Green. And so Hillcrest Prep North will maintain possession. Javon Jones into the contest for Hillcrest Prep. Carl Lewis short this time. Rebound, Keon Batchman. He is fouled by Michael Rogers. That's Rogers' third. Team fifth. Jacob Howry into the game for Hillcrest Prep.
Nice take.
Jackson McCoy, floater in the lane.
Very nice take there, under control by McCoy.
And the lead is 10 once more for St. Louis Christian.
Yep.
Jackson McCoy in transition for the dunk. And the lead is 12, the largest of the game for the Cougars.
And, you know, I don't want to say I felt like, but like I said earlier, it's felt like St. Louis has controlled the entire game.
Yes.
And so
yes.
it felt like that they had a run coming. Here's their run. The momentum all on their side now, and they're playing with more confidence as well.
So we'll take a quick timeout with 8:30 left. Our score, St. Louis Christian 65, Hillcrest Prep North 53. Welcome to the Big Baller Beatdown, a grind session event presented by Tanager Sports. We'll be back in a moment. Hillcrest basketball trailing by 12, 65-53. Oscar Lopez, floater in the lane, blocked by Jonathan Izamoff.
Coach Ottenreith wants them to continue to run when they have the opportunity. But good move there by Sol to back that out, set up the offense, and get a good look. Up to the top. Well, that's just a good take by McCoy.
Jackson McCoy drives baseline.
I thought he'd come back up top to Sol, but he saw something clearly that he saw the baseline drive. And if you don't think, if you're watching this on YouTube or wherever you're watching, if you don't think that right there, two teammates coming to pick up another teammate, if you don't think that means something, then you're wrong, because that's important stuff. I've seen more discipline out of St. Louis Christian here in this second half. I feel like that's why they have been able to take the lead, because they're playing better together. They're moving the basketball. They're working for good shots instead of just launching up a three the first chance they get. They're really moving the ball around and looking for that better look.
(67-54), St. Louis Christian on top. Three ball no good. Rebound, Oscar Lopez. Jackson McCoy, stolen from behind. Jackson McCoy, and he's fouled.
Jackson McCoy, formerly of Victory Rock.
Victory Rock.
Yep. You know, you can just tell by the way he plays. You know, he comes up, he's got the length. He comes up with those big plays like he just did, kind of that are under the radar, even though he gets a steal for it, but it's a big play in this game to stretch it to 14, possibly 15.
So the lead is back out to 15. 69-54. Peyton Dickerson with the dagger from downtown.
Yeah, Dickerson's got that nice stroke. Just like Coach Ottenreed said, you got to get there quicker. You got to close out quicker. That's the shooter. Nice look. Nice look.
Jonathan Easemoff.
And so makes that pass while he's getting his arm grabbed. And it was a no look. So manipulates the defense, looks him off, finds a wide open backdoor cut. Nice.
Jonathan Easemoff called for his third foul, team 9.
Wow.
71-57, St. Louis Christian on top.
We've seen a lot of that today. It's kind of slipping off the fingertips on the free throws. I wonder if there's a little moisture out there on the floor. Nesbitt gets the dead roll there. That's, it dies on the back of the rim there and just falls in.
Colin, that's kind of like it's better to be lucky than good situation.
Right.
That is not the way he intended that shot to go down, but it did nevertheless.
Anytime you hit the back of the iron, you more than likely feel like it's going to bounce off there pretty hard, off the heel.
C.J. Soul makes the first.
Timeout called by Hillcrest.
6 minutes, 12 seconds left in the contest. St. Louis Christian up by 17, 74-57. C.J. Soul made his first free throw right before the timeout. Here comes his second. Both good. So there's an eternity in basketball terms left, 75-57, though an 18-point deficit is going to be tough to trim in just 6 minutes.
Stop chasing him out there. Make him hit one.
Michael Rogers. And we've got timeout on the floor. And we've got another 30-second timeout. This one called by St. Louis Christian. 5:31 left to go in the contest. And the Cougars are up by 16, 75 to 59. And, you know,
Coach Ottenreath probably saved him a 5-second call right there.
Yep.
Hillcrest wanted the 5-second call. But, so he did. You got a couple jab steps in there to create that space. Once it resets, obviously it resets.
Right.
So, but I think that's a good heads-up call by Ottenreath to get that timeout just in case. And the fact that Sol was dribbling around for about 16 seconds, that's another reason why he called that timeout.
Dribble handoff up top.
Oh.
Oscar Lopez called for his third. Batchman, second free throw. Also good. Tiki Musaka called for that foul. That is his third. St. Louis Christian bringing the ball into the front court, up 17, 77 to 60.
Good back cut.
What a pass to C.J. Soul from Jonathan Isamov. Musaka. Wait. Excuse me. Jonathan Isamov. He's called for his fourth.
A lot of times, when the guy that shoots the ball, he's got the best opportunity to get that offensive rebound. Good job there by Batchman of following his own shot.
Trey ball, I think that was Dickerson?
Yep.
Yes. Dickerson having a heck of a second half. He's got 19. But right now, it's just all St. Louis Christian, up 15, 81-66. Burt Brown called for his second foul.
Sol's been very important here for St. Louis Christian. He's really handled the pressure. He's been the primary ball handler that's handled all the pressure from Hillcrest. Limited his turnovers all game long. It's his 13th point of the game. He's had a very, very solid game for a point guard.
And he makes them both.
Hi, John. Hi. Good, John. Good, John. Yes, John. Good job, Jay. That's you, Jack. That's you, Travel, too. Yes, John. Yes, sir. Good D. 40. Straight in.
Jordan Nesbitt into the lane. Floater, good.
And I like Nesbitt, Leroy.
Jordan Nesbitt has 20.
Yeah, he's tough. He's accepted the challenge.
That's all he does. That's all he does. Hey, you sit on that flat and he ain't gonna shoot it.
John, you got to talk that to him.
85-65 is our score, but you don't need any time to shoot yourself in the foot, Cullen. The three-point game and the 30-second shot clock conspire to speed up the game and make dramatic comebacks far from impossible.
Stop the ball. Yes, sir. Give him one, Jay. Give him one.
Jordan Nesbitt missed a dunk.
And he can't believe it, just like anybody else can't believe he just missed that dunk.
I'm stunned. I don't know how that happened. Foul on Jackson McCoy is fourth.
His coach thinks he's hurt.
Hope. He hopes. Makes the first.
Let's go. Back, Jay. Get back. Hey, go. Finish the game out.
2 minutes, 33 seconds left.
Hi, John. Hi, John.
St. Louis Christian in total control, 86-66. Jordan Clark floater in the lane, no good. And they call goaltending.
Now, the bucket.
He's frustrated. That's why. Tell him to sit down. He needs a breather. Hey,
I've been really impressed with the bigs of St. Louis Christian. They've, it's not like that they've, gotten to 20-plus points or anything like that, but they both hit a couple threes. They both, caught the ball well when their guards are driving, and they both rebounded well.
Good shot. By your hands, key.
And by both, I mean Musaka. Oh.
Timeout. 30. Timeout.
No doubt what Coach Casey Audenreith is upset about there. Just too many chances given down on the other end. And he was imploring his guys just a minute ago, close this game out.
Right.
And for whatever reason, they're not doing what they need to do to close it out. And I think this is more about, hey, look, playing the right way from start to finish than anything else, because they're in no danger.
It's more of a teaching moment just to let them know, this is preparation for games that are close down the stretch, and playing the right way. It's just a mindset.
Jackson McCoy bringing the ball up for St. Louis Christian. First free throw, no good. Alpha Chibamba. .116 left in the contest. Chibamba makes the second. Hands! 89-68.
Finish the game off.
50 seconds left. The lead is 17, 89-72, and Coach Autenreith continues to tell his guys, finish the game off. And that'll do it. St. Louis Christian virtually coast to coast, and they win it 89-72 over Hillcrest Prep North.
What'd Soul have?
All right, and our player of the game with 16 points is CJ Soul. So we will get him in here and we will talk with him briefly. All right, so we are here with our player of the game after that 89-72 victory by St. Louis Christian. Player of the game is Cortland C.J. Soul. Congratulations, Cortland.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
This is the game that you guys, for the most part, control from start to finish. Talk about how difficult it is, though, when you lose the momentum like you did right there at halftime. You had the turnover. They scored the three. You walk in with a 5-point lead. What were y'all talking about after that?
Well, in the locker room, we just told ourselves, once we get a big lead, we can't fall back. We got to keep the pressure on because good teams like that, when they get momentum going, they can finish the game easy, and we just couldn't let that happen, so we had to get back together and finish the game.
I've got to go back to something that happened a few weeks ago. You guys were in two different places. You were here at the grind session, and then another unit was in Missouri at an event. How difficult was that? I mean, each of you teams just had, I think, 6 guys each.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't that hard, to be honest, because we conditioned a lot, so we were very conditioned. But it was just hard, mentally, that we knew we had 5 people, so we had to stay out of foul trouble and make sure we were healthy and stuff like that. So we just had to stay together and just play as a 5.
You guys play a fast brand of game. You shoot a lot of threes. Do y'all ever get worried that sometimes maybe one day the three is not going to be falling and then you have to figure out something else to do?
Well, to be honest, we got a lot of shooters, so if one guy's not on, another will. But if we're not all shooting well, we know we all can get to the basket. And we got a good inside presence, so if we're not shooting well, we know we got other ways to finish and score the ball.
All right. Great performance. So you guys get back to the hotel room, get some rest. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right. So coming up next will be Spire Academy versus Downey Christian out of Florida. So that ought to be a really big game. Everybody stick around, and we will be back. This is the Grind Session event brought to you by Tanager Sports. See you in a few minutes.